J.M. Kariuki was assassinated in the year 1975 by the then government of Mzee Jomo Kenyatta. And the reason being, J.M. Kariuki raised the concerns about a country with 10 millionaires and 10 million beggars, and is what he was against. And after kupewa uhuru, the main intent of having independence was kwamba tupate uhuru, turudishe our land back. We need our land back, our culture, our African spiritualism. But after mzungu ameona the Mau were very serious, what he did, he took some traitors, the likes of Kina Kenyatta and all those guys who went to the Lancaster House, and they went to discuss the independence of Kenya. But after independence, instead of the Mau wardens being given what they were fighting for, which was land, instead Kenyatta took the large estates which were formerly owned by the white man. And up to date, we still have large acres of lands in Kenya owned by the white men still, the likes of Delemere, the likes of Finlays, large tea estates, but no one ever questions. And why Dedan Kimathi was killed and Kenyatta survived? Kenyatta was not even a Mau Mau. The real Mau Mau leader was Dedan Kimathi, but he was killed. And when they wanted to execute him, they once told him to pray in the name of God, but Dedan refused and said he was going to pray in the name of his ancestors, and he believed in faith, not faith in Jesus, but faith in the blood that they were going to shed in order to get independence. But what followed was betrayal, the likes of this Jomo Kenyatta. And again, the death of Tom Mboya was because he was at the Lancaster House, and because he refused to follow what was discussed in the Lancaster House, and he realized that hii uhuru ilikuwa tu PR, but mzungu ndo anatawala. When he tried to raise concerns in the then government of Jomo Kenyatta, he was killed because he was the future. Tom Mboya was the future of Kenya. He had a sharp vision. That's why you get immediately after independence, it's when many things in this country were done. The likes of KICC, projects like the Kenya Theatre, Bombers of Kenya. It's when they were started. Many things in this nation were started immediately after independence. But I want us to look at after the death of Tom Mboya. That's when Kenya lost the direction. When Jaramogi Oginga Odinga was removed as the vice president, or resigned, that's when Kenya lost the direction. And that's why I want to say the biggest thing Mzungu alituibia is our conscience, our consciousness. They installed or coded us with education that made us to believe in obedience, patience, and many things. But this guy by the name Dedan Kimathi once said that if your God tells us to wait and be patient about our independence, then that's not my God. And today I want to also say that if your God tells us to be patient and leave this death of Albert Ojwang to him, that is the one who is going to handle our oppressors, that is not my God. Instead, my God should tell us to go and fight for justice. That's why when pastors, why are pastors dining with dictators instead of fighting for justice? What they fear is a person who thinks independently. That's why they will always have the media. When the media narrates, what happens? The need is to media is to spread the fear. But we want to say, as the Gen Z of this nation, we no longer fear. We are not going to betray our ancestors, the real freedom fighters, Dedan Kimathi, the likes of Otenyo, the likes of Samoi Kwitalel. We are told that they are heroes. For example, streets are named after Dedan Kimathi, but in history in our schools, we are not taught what Dedan Kimathi stood for. We are not told his school of thought, but we are told he's a freedom fighter, and you name streets after him, and that's all. But the idea of that man, they will never share it with you. So we should avoid this Gideria media by all means for our independence. Enough is enough. I am not the next one.